What's up, YouTube? Coming back with another one. Boxing fans, they hoping to see Undisputed Champion, which is rightfully so. I can understand that most boxing fans want to see Undisputed. Tired of seeing guys holding on to belts, not really fighting the best, keeping the belt, holding the belt for hostage, not wanting to fight the best, but just want to hold on to the belt and just pick and choose who they want to fight. That's how mostly it is today. They get a belt and they pick and choose who they want to fight, especially if the fight is lucrative. I understand all of that. So you want to see an undisputed champion, but to me, my personal opinion, how I feel, that shit is overrated today. Undisputed champion is so overrated. It's it's watered down to me. And the reason why I say that, because champions are being stripped for different reasons. They are not fighting their mandatories, so they're being stripped. Then you have fighters being elevated, elevated to being champions. Then you having fighters coming to a division, fighting a lesser opponent for a belt and giving the belt. Then you got some fighters just giving belts. Hey, like, here, take this belt, collect this belt. We're going to give you this belt because this guy refused to fight you for whatever reason, but he decided not to fight you, so he vacated his belt, or we stripped him of his belt. So now we're going to hand it over to you, and we're going to crown you champion, even though you never proved you earned or deserved this belt, but we're going to give it to you. And all you got to do is fight a couple of guys that we'll give these belts to. And once you beat these guys, you can be undisputed. Really? Are you for real? And you want to call this guy undisputed? He was handed a couple of belts and beat a couple of paper champions that didn't really, or shouldn't really had the belts in the first place. But now he got all four belts, or he got all the belts that he can be titled or named undisputed. He got all the mandatory belts, or all the sanctioning belts that he need to be labeled undisputed. But he didn't really fight anyone or didn't earn the title undisputed. Then let's use Keith Thurman for an example. Not just to pick on Keith, it's a couple of others that's in a situation that I'm talking about. But Keith Thurman, though, he was a WBA intern, whatever the fuck that is. WBA intern champion, whatever that is. Some shit they made up, intern. They designed or made up a fucking belt. They made that shit up. WBA intern. What the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? They gave him that. Made him Floyd's mandatory. I guess Floyd himself seen it was bullshit. So Floyd said, I'm not fighting him. He ain't my fucking mandatory. A WBA intern. Some shit that y'all made up. And so Floyd didn't fight his ass. Chess move to me. Floyd didn't fight the WBA interim champion, whatever that is. So once Floyd decided not to fight Keith Thurman, that's when they elevated Keith Thurman to the WBA super champion, whatever the fuck it is. Whatever they elevated him to, but now he's the WBA champion. He was elevated. Didn't have to prove, didn't have to beat anyone to get that belt. They just gave it to him. He was elevated. And now you have Danny Garcia moving up in weight to 147. He was also, too, given the belt. When he came up to 147, if I'm not mistaken, he might have fought Guerrero at a catchweight. I could be wrong. But he came up to 147 and fought Robert Guerrero, a guy that lost to Floyd Mayweather for his belt. He had already lost to the champion in Floyd Mayweather. But yet he comes in fighting Danny Garcia for the WBC belt that Floyd vacated. And Danny Garcia beats him. So now Danny Garcia becomes the WBC champion. I didn't know why, but I knew it was an angle behind it, you know. At first I thought it was for Floyd to come out in retirement and fight Danny Garcia, but I had the wrong angle. They fooled me. But anyways, Keith Thurman was given the belt, the WBA belt. He was elevated. Here comes Danny Garcia up from 140, coming from 140 to 147, given the belt. Matter of fact, he was given the green belt. He was given a WBC belt by beating a gatekeeper and Robert Guerrero. So now you got two paper champions meeting for a title match. Yes, I said paper champions. Keith Thurman, Dan Garcia, two fucking paper champions. They meeting for a unification bout. Shit means nothing to me. I ain't really watched this shit. Matter of fact, I couldn't watch it. I dozed off on this shit because this shit was weak to me. It was a boring fight. You got two paper champions fighting to unify. Two manufactured champions fighting to unify belts. Doesn't make any sense. But I'm just trying to paint this picture like this Undisputed shit is just overrated today. Just like Triple G the same fucking way. He will be a manufactured, unified fucking champion. That shit wouldn't even count to me. You know, I wouldn't even if he beat, let's say he fought Billy Joe Sanders, whatever his fucking name is, Billy Joe Sanders. Let's say he fight him and beat Billy Joe and get the last belt. I still wouldn't recognize him as Undisputed because he was handed a couple of belts. He didn't beat all the champions. And then you want to excuse it, well, Canelo had the WBC belt and he ain't want to fight Canelo. I mean, he want to fight Triple G. So, and they going to give this man a belt because Canelo didn't want to fight him? And y'all count that shit? Man, come on, man. I can't recognize that. And then folks want to criticize Tyson when he became Undisputed champion. Matter of fact, he was the youngest fucking champion, man. Had all the heavyweight belts, beat every fucking champion, man. And they want to say, well, he was in a weak era. Those champions of his time, they won great champions. Come on, man. This man did it the right way by defeating all the champions and collecting all the belts. And you want to criticize his or diminish what he did far as Undisputed, but will praise these champions today as being undisputed. To me, it's some hypocritical shit. It's hypocrisy to the highest degree. If you ask me, like I said, it's just my personal opinion. I don't really like it. You know, I don't really like it at all. That's why I hope when I'm hoping, man, that Errol Spence knocked Frail Brook the fuck out. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that Errol Spence knocks out Frail Brook when they meet in Frail Brook hometown. I hope he does. I hope he does. This man is fighting the champion. He wasn't given a fucking belt. He wasn't given a belt. And once he knock out Frail Brook and become the IBF champion, don't run, Keith, one time, Thurman. Don't run. Don't run. Don't run. Because to me, Keith Thurman, in the welterweight division, you don't earn or deserve to be undisputed in my eyes. Hell no. I would rather see Errol Spence as undisputed champion. That's what I want to see. I can't respect you, Keith. I can't, man. You talk a whole lot of shit. Talk a gang of shit. Talking about you one time. By the time you get touched one time by your opponent, you running. You don't stand there and trade, man. You don't stand there and fight. Come on, man. It is what it is, people. Like I said, you know, this undisputed shit to me is just overrated today. Shit don't even mean the same because it's too scripted, too organized, and so much full of shit.